Some of you may know the thing to announce. She shared with the family that there will be a grand jury that she will turn this case over to once they have collected all the information and finished their investigation. We also agreed that we will have a mutual inspection of the cell phone with our experts and their experts. Attorney Eric Hertz is helping lead the investigation team with former law enforcement experts who are going to help us with the cell phone download. So everybody will be able to see at the same time what the cell phone has.
If you've been following the Nolan Xavier Wells case, today has brought some of the biggest developments since his body was recovered. The Wells family has now met face-to-face with prosecutors. Major decisions have been made about the investigation, new information has emerged about Nolan's cell phone, and funeral plans have officially been announced. At the same time, the family says they are still searching for one answer that has haunted them since the beginning. What really happened to Nolan Xavier Wells? Before we get into today's update, if you believe every family deserves answers and justice, make sure you subscribe to Case Watch and turn on notifications so you never miss any breaking developments. The latest update comes after Nolan's parents and their legal team met privately with Jackson County District Attorney Angel Myers-McElrath. According to attorney Ben Crump, the meeting was productive, but it did not provide the answers the family has been desperately waiting for. Following the meeting, Ben Crump explained that the family continues to ask the same question they have asked since Nolan disappeared. What happened to their son? One of the most significant announcements to come out of that meeting is that the investigation will eventually be presented to a grand jury once investigators complete their work.
Right now there's a lot of unanswered questions. We appreciate the district attorney meeting with us, but because of certain types of confidentiality that even the victims are not allowed to know, we did not get all the answers we want. We have an independent investigation going on that involves former law enforcement, federal agents that are going to be looking into all the different information we got. The calls are coming in and we're getting a lot of information. Some of the people that I spoke to are not talking with law enforcement here. We're going to be trying to get them to cooperate with each other because we want to make sure the narrative, which has been put out that is false, is going to be corrected. So at this point, we just ask everybody to keep calling in if you have any information and let us know. And I personally, if we validate you're a legitimate call, we'll call you and talk to you. And I thank you all for showing up today.
Over the past several days, Ben Crump has publicly stated that the Wells family believes text messages may have been deleted from Nolan's phone before it was returned to them. That claim quickly became one of the most talked about aspects of the investigation. Now, both the district attorney's office and the family's attorneys have agreed to conduct a joint forensic examination of the device. Instead of each side conducting separate analyses, digital forensic experts representing both the prosecution and the Wells family will inspect the phone together. The goal is to determine exactly what data remains on the device, whether anything was removed, and whether any digital evidence can help investigators reconstruct Nolan's final hours. This agreement is significant because it gives both sides confidence that the examination will be transparent and that the findings can be independently verified. As of today, investigators have not publicly confirmed that any messages were deleted. The forensic examination is expected to answer many of those questions. Another major part of the investigation remains the medical evidence. While Mississippi authorities continue working on the official autopsy and toxicology reports, the Wells family is also pursuing an independent autopsy in Washington, D.C. Ben Crump has said the family wants an independent review to ensure every possible question surrounding Nolan's death is examined. The results from that independent examination have not yet been released publicly. Authorities are also continuing to ask for the public's help. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department has once again urged anyone who was on or near Horn Island on July 4th to come forward with photographs, videos, cell phone recordings, or any information that could help investigators establish a more complete timeline of events. Sheriff John Ledbetter also asked the public to avoid spreading rumors while the investigation remains ongoing, emphasizing that investigators are carefully reviewing every piece of available evidence. Although many rumors continue circulating online, authorities say they have not changed their official position. Investigators have stated that they currently do not have evidence confirming foul play, but they also stress that the investigation remains open and active. Officials say they are continuing to gather evidence before making any final determination about exactly what happened. During Wednesday's press conference, Nolan's mother thanked supporters from across the country who have stood beside the family throughout this difficult time. She also made an emotional request. She asked that any marches, rallies, or demonstrations held in Nolan's memory remain peaceful, saying that is exactly what her son would have wanted. The family has now also announced funeral arrangements for Nolan Xavier Wells. Visitation will take place on Monday morning, July 20th, followed immediately by funeral services at Center Point Church in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. The service will be officiated by Reverend Al Sharpton, who has been supporting the Wells family throughout the investigation. After the funeral service, family members, friends, classmates, teammates, and supporters will gather at the Jackson County Fairgrounds for a celebration of Nolan's life. Rather than making the day only about grief, Nolan's mother said she wants people to remember the joy, kindness, and spirit that Nolan brought to everyone around him. She told supporters that Nolan would not want everyone sitting around crying. Instead, she hopes people celebrate the life he lived and the impact he made on those who knew him. The family also expressed gratitude to those who have offered assistance during this difficult time.
Everyone, the homegoing celebration, the funeral will be held at Center Point Church in Ocean Springs. It is going to be, visitation will be 9 to 11, and then the funeral will start after that. The plan is for the repast because, again, we want to celebrate Nolan. And he would not want us to be sitting around crying and eating. And so what we're going to do is kind of have a party to celebrate him, and that'll be held at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. So we really do want to keep it for family and friends. We are going to allow media to come in as well. And lastly,
His teammates.
Oh, absolutely, teammates. We've already contacted Coach Les George because we want to make sure that those guys are there. Former teammates from high school, middle school, teams that he played against. You guys are all welcome, but of course, we want to make sure that our families for sure and close friends get there. So I do want to just say, for those of you, again, if you are having protests, even the day of his service, I am asking you guys to just keep it peaceful. Nolan would never want any type of violence or anything like that. He was not that kind of person. So if you guys would, again, just be peaceful. And to the community, thank you so much. Just the outpouring of love, support. We've had some local officials. Mayor Casey Vaughn from Gaucher has reached out to us. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. He has...
Actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry has offered to cover Nolan's funeral expenses, while former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick is helping pay for the family's independent autopsy. The Wells family publicly thanked both men for their generosity and support. Looking ahead, another potentially important development could happen after the funeral. Ben Crump indicated that the family's legal team expects to discuss preliminary findings from the independent autopsy after funeral services have concluded. Depending on what those findings reveal, they could become another major chapter in this investigation.
About funeral services, want to thank Mr. Tyler Perry for paying for the funeral.
Absolutely.
As well as Colin Kaepernick for helping to shoulder the expense of the independent autopsy. And I thank Reverend Al for agreeing to officiate the funeral services. Where she talked about the process, she didn't tell us any information about the investigation too much because those things are, as she said, her role and what she has to do. But they still have questions, and that's not insignificant to this meeting. It's just in general. Every morning they wake up and there's a hole in their heart, and they are trying to say, what happened to my son? Obviously, they feel strongly that he would not have just stayed behind. He wouldn't have left his cell phone. And so we're trying to get to those answers. We're posting everything. Let's make it clear. We're reposting everything because we're trying to get people to come in and call. And so we've said from the beginning, we're in a ferocious search for the truth. And so things out there, we are trying to post, ask people, do you know something about this? Let us know. Just because we repost does not mean that we authenticate anything. Look at our social media. We have always been very careful to say this is a repost, and we almost always give a declaration that that's what it is, a repost. And so we want people to continue to call about everything, videos, whatever interactions they saw, and thank God we are getting dozens of people calling every day saying, I was on Horn Island. This is what I saw. I know these individuals. This is what we know.
For now, many questions remain unanswered. What happened during Nolan's final hours? What will investigators discover during the joint forensic examination of his cell phone? Will the independent autopsy provide new information that investigators have not yet released? And what evidence will eventually be presented before the grand jury? Those are the questions many people across the country are now waiting to have answered. As always, we'll continue following every verified development in this case and bring you updates as soon as new information becomes available. If you found this report informative, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Case Watch, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest true crime updates. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you for watching.